Hi there! Today we're going to put the Asus ZenFone 3, the ZE552KL, up against the Samsung Galaxy A7 and see how ZenFone 3 is superior and give A7 a run for its money. First, let's take a look at a specs comparison. The screen size is the same as both phones come with 5.5-inch Full HD displays. As of the processor, the ZenFone 3 is the world's first smartphone to pack a Qualcomm Snapdragon 625. On the other hand, the A7 comes with an Exynos 7580. In the RAM and storage department, the ZenFone 3 trumps the A7 with a larger 4GB of RAM and 64GB of onboard storage, with A7 only has 3GB of RAM and an underwhelming 16GB of storage. Now let's take a look at the design. Both ZenFone 3 and A7 comes with a 2.5D Corning Gorilla Glass on front and back and a metal frame all around. But ZenFone 3 comes with a much smoother and rounder metal frame that creates a more comfortable grip. The Zen circle pattern on the back of ZenFone 3 gives the phone a standout look from other smartphones. A7's design, however, is relatively conservative and boring. With chamfer edges all over the phone, the ZenFone 3 looks more exquisite and premium than the A7. Although both phones have 5.5-inch Full HD displays, but ZenFone 3 has a maximum brightness of 600 nits, which is brighter than the A7's 556 nits. The ZenFone 3 also has a built-in blue light filter to reduce harmful blue light to protect users' eyes. The A7, however, doesn't have this feature and has to rely on third-party apps. Now let's move on to the camera part. The ZenFone 3 comes with a 16-megapixel Sony IMX298 sensor that has a higher pixel count than the A7's 13-megapixel sensor. And it also has the same pixel size as the A7, which means the ZenFone 3 will have more details in photo shooting without sacrificing the image quality. Also, the ZenFone 3 has an exclusive Tri-Tac autofocus system, which includes laser autofocus, face detection autofocus, and continuous autofocus system that the A7 doesn't have. So we test both phones' focus speed with our special instrument from our camera lab, and the result indicates ZenFone 3 has a faster focus speed in both bright and low light situation. The white balance of a ZenFone 3 is much more better, with the colors are vibrant and punchy. As of the A7, the image quality looks pale compared to the ZenFone 3. The ZenFone 3 can also utilize its dual-tone LED flash to create more natural light on the shooting object in low-light situation, but A7 on the other hand only has single yellow light flash, thus the object will all looks yellowish. ZenFone 3's Super Resolution mode that can let user to combine 4 photos to create a 64-megapixel photo with amazing details. On the other hand, the A7 was stuck with its 13-megapixel camera. And now switch to the selfie camera. The white balance of the ZenFone 3 selfie camera is better with colors are vibrant and saturated. The A7, however, looks pale compared to the ZenFone 3. The panorama mode of the selfie camera on the ZenFone 3 also has an ultra-wide of 140 degrees field of view, while the A7 only has 120 degrees. The ZenFone 3 can record video in 4K resolution. On the other hand, the A7 can only shoot up to Full HD resolution. The ZenFone 3 also has more than 20 camera modes, including slow motion and time-lapse, that can produce fun and interesting video footage, and most of them are nowhere to be found on the A7, which only has 6 camera modes. On to the performance part, the ZenFone 3 has 14nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 processor, which provides better performance with even less power consumption than the A7's 20nm Exynos 7580. Open apps and multitasking are faster on the ZenFone 3. The A7, however, can start apps quickly but struggle at multitasking with lags every here and there. The ZenFone 3 also scores higher than the A7 on GPU benchmark, which indicate a better gaming performance for the ZenFone 3. ASUS exclusive Game Genie allows users to further boost up its gaming experience with Speed Booster to enhance performance. It also allows users to live stream their gaming and search for gaming tips without exiting the game. The ZenFone 3's fingerprint sensor is very sensitive and reliable as it can always unlock the phone instantly, whereas the A7's fingerprint sensor is not as responsive and reliable as ZenFone 3's. Despite the A7 has a bigger battery of 3300 mAh compared to ZenFone 3's 3000 mAh battery, a video playback comparison indicates a similar battery performance despite a smaller battery for ZenFone 3. Now let's take a look at the audio. The ZenFone 3's audio speaker is crystal clear with its 5-magnet audio speaker. It provides pure sound with articulation details are clear and loud, whereas A7's audio speaker is grainy and the details are lost. The ZenFone 3's headphone jack is capable of outputting the 24-bit high-res audio with amazing details. The A7, on the other hand, only supports up to 16-bit audio. Move on to the wireless support. The ZenFone 3's 4G plus 3G dual SIM support makes it perfect for business trip, as multiple wireless service is a common need for business travelers. But A7 only supports 4G plus 2G, as 2G is not considered the mainstream service anymore. The ZenFone 3 also supports LTE Category 7, which means the maximum speed for uploading is 3 times as fast as A7's Category 6. The ZenFone 3 supports the latest solution of Wi-Fi 802.11ac with a maximum speed of 3 GB per second, which is 4 times faster than the A7's 802.11n. The ZenFone 3 also supports the voice LTE that can deliver crystal clear call quality, while the A7 doesn't have this feature and only supports 3G phone calls. So let's do a short recap on what advantages and benefits the ZenFone 3 has to offer against the A7. First, a more balanced and faster to focus camera that delivers more details and smoother photo shooting experience. A more advanced Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 for better performance, a more reliable fingerprint sensor, and a more authentic audio playback that allows users to listen to every detail of music.